So we can see now the shape and the size has changed over the period. But would you like to put some light on the structure of this instrument in detail?
Yeah, now telling about these parts or the structure of harmonium. As I mentioned in the start only, that from water organ to pneumatic organ to reed. So basically, it falls in the wind instrument kind of a category. There are categories like string instrument, wind instrument, and all those things. So this is a wind instrument like flute. Only difference is this is a wind instrument, and with the help of keyboard we play it. So this is a bellow. This part is called as bellow, and when we do like this, the air pressure is taken inside, and when we press the key, a sound is produced. So this is basically the simple mechanism. Now what happens is air is taken in when we play this bellow. The air comes inside the harmonium or samadhini and then comes up. So reeds are fitted inside. So when we play this key, it becomes a seesaw effect. I will show you. I will remove this thing. Now if in the camera, if we can show here, if I press the key, this thing moves. So it becomes a seesaw effect. So air comes inside the harmonium, it comes up because of the pressure. When I press this key, this hole is free and we can hear the note. Now, if I am not playing any key, if I blow this, you can't hear any noise, you can't hear any note. Once I put it, so this is a very simple mechanism like this. Now what happens is, generally we can see this bellow outside. So everybody feels that okay, this is the only bellow that is controlled. It is not like that. You can see these valves here. If you can show, these are the valves. So if you see, when I press it, the valves get closed. So the air is flowing in, but air cannot escape outside. This is the use of valve. Okay. When I release this, you can see it will get open, the valves. So now the air can be sucked in. Okay. So actually, when I am releasing the blow, the air is going in. And when I am pulling this, the air is not going in this bellow. It's a totally opposite mechanism that we are selling. When I am releasing, the air is coming in. When I am pressurizing, the outside air is not coming in, but neither the inside is
Going
air is
out.
escaping outside. Now there is a sound box inside the harmonium. Sound box means there is a vacant space inside. Okay, where the air comes basically, and there is a bellow inside the harmonium. Another bellow. So what happens is the air comes from this bellow to the sound box, from sound box to the bellow inside. Now there is a spring down that particular bellow which is pulling it up. It's kind of a mechanical spring. So basically it's giving pressure on that bellow. The structure is air comes from here to the sound box, from sound box to the bellow down, which is inside this box, and from that particular bellow the air is coming up. If it is not so, only one bellow is there, then it will happen like when I put the air from this bellow, the sound is there, then it will stop. So it will ha hup, as the air, there won't be any continuity of the air pressure. So we require two bellows. One bellow is outside to pump inside. That air is stored in the bellow down, and when again I put the pressure here, the air flows to that particular bellow. Then I put my hand on the key, and then the noise is produced. So there is a continuity into that. The Up to the time I am flowing air through this bellow, you can hear a continuous noise like up to the time I am flowing this, it will you can hear. Then it will vanish off. You can see the teak wood is used while making the harmonium. There are cardboards. This is a cardboard from which the bellow is made. The same way a cardboard is used to make a bellow inside. Now, as I told you, the use of reed is there. When we put a pressure on the reed, it vibrates and produces a note. So now I will open this harmonium for you. Now you can see the lines of reeds. There is one line here, there is another line below. Okay. Now there are frames, metal frames, in which the reed is actually fixed. So on one side of the reed is fixed in the frame and the another side is open so it can vibrate. I will show you. This side is fixed and this side is open. I can show you how. You can see this side is open and you can hear the noise. Okay, so now you understood what I am talking about the reeds. Now this area I can move my hand freely. There is nothing inside that obstructs me. This is called as sound box. So what I told you about the sound box. Now I will close this. Now if you look at the mechanism, these are kind of free keys. So basically there are 2-3 joints. So when I move like this, they have the liberty of moving inside. Then there are springs which are put here. You can see these springs which are quite tight. So when I release the key, it again comes back to the original position. Otherwise, if we don't have a spring, it will again get stuck here. So these are the springs. And depending on the style, depending on in what kind of music you are going to play, the pressure of the keys are very important. They should not be very tight, they should not be very loose. It depends on artist to artist that how hard the keys should be, how smooth the keys should be. And by changing the pressure of these particular springs, you can adjust the tension of the keyboard. Now you can see that this part moves up, it goes down when I release it. Now it will produce lot of noise when it hits the wood. So there is lot of other kind of cloth or kind of a velvet is used, a better quality velvet is used. Below all this kind of structure individually is stuck with a gum. So when it hits back on the harmonium on the wooden side, it won't create a large noise. Also, when we are pressing the keys in a faster gat or faster tan, it hits back on the fingers. If I no, this is fixed. If I remove this key, you can see some kind of soft cloth. In India, we call as malmal or softened cotton thing is again put below all these keys, which is stuck by glue. So when I play these keys, the pressure is not on my hand. Otherwise, my finger will start getting hurt when I play for 4 or 5 hours. So this is the basic structure of any harmonium. Another thing I want to show you, that I will topple this harmonium. Now, this is the base, which we call it as tadiya in Hindustani terms. The bellow inside, which I told you previously, this is the outer bellow and inside bellow is just behind this. And there is a spring. If I put my hand through this hole, I can touch the spring. Here is the spring. So one has to adjust the pressure of that particular spring also. We have to talk with the person who manufactures that, and then he will either tighten it or release that pressure according to what we feel is right for our own style. At the same time, there is a hole here. because I am going to pressurize the air through this bellow. There has to be some way where the extra air which I am going to put inside has to have a flow to go out. Otherwise, the bellow will get burst. So, this kind of hole is there. Now, if you look at the structure of the harmonium, basically it's a keyboard instrument. So, when we play through keyboard, if I play this note and then I release this key and play the next note, the sound breaks basically. So, it's been called as cut note instrument. Now, to overcome that, my Guruji, famous harmonium maestro, Pandit Manohar Chimote, he invented something. But that was again the idea of his guru, Pandit Bhishmadev Vediji, to use Swaramandal, the Swaramandal which I am having. One is to play the Swaramandal to create a mood. Another thing is these wires are used like taraf. What happens in our regular older instruments, famous instruments like sitar, sorot, sarangi, all these instruments are having taraf tar. Means there are main strings on which they play, they pluck, or on sarangi they use the bow. Now what happens is when I pluck something, that noise remains for few seconds. It will not be a continuity of the sound like a vocalist. That's the law of science. That when two particular sound waves match, they resonate. So, if I tuned a string here and if I tune another string next to it, which are tuned in the similar frequency, if I play one, the another will vibrate. So that continuity effect is met. So this was thought by Pandit Bhishmadev Vedi. Then it was more research work was done by my guru Pandit Manohar Chimote about the size of the this particular Swaramandal, then what kind of strings should be used, what should be the gauge of that particular string, and he found that this becomes very useful. When I tuned it, it's a 12 string Swaramandal because there are 12 strings in a particular saptak or octave. When I tuned it according to the raga, even when I play these keys, depending on the raga, it produces certain frequencies. And when I tune this thing to that, it resonates. So when I play this and then I go here, now you can see another noise coming up, a small one, which is a continuity of that note. So when I release this particular key and play the other key, it resonates and we can get a continuity of notes. So it doesn't remain a cut note instrument. And we can see that we can play some part of gamak, which is a very essential part in Indian classical music.